In every room, there's often a man who doesn't need to raise his voice to be noticed. His energy alone is enough to shift the dynamics, creating unease in those who crave dominance and control. This man is a Sigma male, self-contained, emotionally untouchable, and completely uninterested in playing the power games that rule most social environments. He stands outside the typical hierarchy, not because he's tried to rebel, but because he was never interested in climbing it in the first place. This quiet defiance is precisely why manipulative, deceitful, and toxic individuals, those we often refer to as evil people, find Sigma males so infuriating. The Sigma isn't combative or overtly confrontational. He doesn't challenge their authority with volume or threats. Instead, he challenges them simply by existing outside their influence, unaffected by their attempts at emotional manipulation or control. The presence of a Sigma male creates a kind of psychological imbalance for these individuals. Their usual tricks, false praise, guilt-tripping, intimidation, fall flat. They're used to pulling strings and watching people dance. But the Sigma doesn't dance. He doesn't flinch, argue, or explain. His emotional detachment, his refusal to react, is like holding a mirror to their tactics, and it terrifies them. This isn't a war fought with open hostility. It's subtle, insidious, a battle of mind games, fake kindness, and quiet sabotage. Evil people don't attack the Sigma with overt aggression. Instead, they come smiling. They compliment. They observe. And then they plan. 1. They pretend to respect him, just to study his weaknesses. Evil individuals rarely go in with open hostility. Instead, they camouflage themselves as admirers. They offer compliments that seem genuine. You're so mysterious. Or, I really respect how independent you are. But behind these words lies an agenda. Every compliment is laced with question. How can I get inside this man's offenses? They study the Sigma carefully, noting what makes him pause, what topics trigger guardedness, who he seems to protect. The Sigma's detachment, his refusal to engage emotionally, is both his strength and his vulnerability. He tends to dismiss flattery as meaningless, which makes him a perfect target for those who seek to get close under the guise of admiration. By the time they attack, they know exactly where to aim. 2. They frame his independence as narcissism. Once manipulation fails, evil people shift tactics. They turn public opinion against the Sigma by reframing his strengths as flaws. His emotional self-reliance becomes emotional unavailability. His self-confidence is twisted into arrogance. His calmness under pressure is spun as cold indifference. This is not an honest critique. It's a smear campaign. By using popular psychological terms like narcissist, gaslighter, or toxic, they attempt to discredit the Sigma in the eyes of others. The irony? What they describe isn't him. It's a projection of their own insecurities. But to outsiders who don't understand the Sigma's depth, the lies can seem plausible, at least for a while. 3. They use others to attack what he ignores. The Sigma male doesn't react to petty drama or personal attacks, and that drives manipulators crazy. So, instead of attacking him directly, they orchestrate indirect assaults. They whisper rumors to mutual friends, hoping someone else will bring the confrontation to the Sigma. They stir conflict in group settings or social media, letting others be the frontline soldiers. They want to provoke the Sigma, drag him into a reactive state where he defends himself or lashes out. If he stays quiet, the lies gain traction. If he speaks up, they twist his defense into aggression. Either way, it's designed to be a trap. But the Sigma's refusal to play, his willingness to walk away rather than fight for a false reputation, is what protects him in the end. These tactics mark just the beginning of how manipulative people try and fail to control Sigma males. Because when the usual strategies don't work, desperation sets in. And when desperation sets in, the darkness reveals itself. For they make you a symbol of what they hate about themselves. To manipulative and insecure individuals, the Sigma male represents everything they secretly wish they could be, but chose not to become. His unshakable independence and quiet confidence act like a mirror they cannot bear to look into. Deep down, these people once aspired to be self-reliant, to walk their own path without seeking approval. But instead, They clung to external validation, to toxic attachments, to systems of control. Seeing the Sigma male thrive without needing anyone is a painful reminder of their own compromises. So, they direct their hatred at him, not because of who he truly is, but because of what he represents, the version of themselves they were too afraid to become. The irony is twisted and bitter, because the more they attack him, the more they reveal their envy, and the more they confirm the very strength they hope to deny. 5. They keep tabs on you, while claiming you don't matter. One of the clearest signs of hidden obsession is when someone insists they don't care about you, yet somehow always knows everything you're doing. This is a silent obsession many toxic people develop towards Sigma males. They'll casually dismiss him in conversation. Oh, him? I don't even think about him. While secretly monitoring his every move. They know what project he's pursuing, who he's spending time with, where he's been seen. This isn't curiosity. It's surveillance born of insecurity. These individuals need to know whether he's thriving without them, because it challenges a false narrative they cling to. You can't succeed outside of our system. When they see the Sigma not only surviving, but flourishing on his own terms, it dismantles their illusion, and that realization is something they cannot tolerate. 6. They try to give you orders just to trigger you. Control-driven individuals often attempt to provoke rebellion in the Sigma male, not because they expect obedience, but because they want a reason to paint him as difficult or uncooperative. They issue unsolicited commands disguised as advice. You need to be more social, or stop being so distant. Their goal is to agitate him into reacting so they can flip the script and play the victim. I was just trying to help. Or, why are you being so defensive? But the Sigma male doesn't take the bait. He doesn't engage emotionally or escalate the situation. Instead, he responds with quiet certainty, usually with nothing more than a calm, unapologetic no. That single word, delivered without tension or fear, holds more power than 100 arguments, because it shows that no amount of pressure will ever shake him from who he is. 7. They confuse attachment with a lack of conscience, the projection game, to manipulative and emotionally unstable individuals. The Sigma male's emotional detachment is deeply unsettling. They assume that because he doesn't overreact or wears emotions on his sleeve, he must be heartless or cold. But this belief says more about them than it does about him. These people are often the ones who fake compassion, cry on command, or weaponize feelings to gain control. They mistake the Sigma's self-mastery for apathy because they can't imagine strength without theatrics. In reality, the Sigma male's calm demeanor is not a void of conscience. It's a result of internal discipline and emotional clarity. He feels deeply, but he does not perform his feelings for the benefit of others. And that quiet, unreadable stillness, it's not indifference, it's unshakable control. 8. They try to outcast you, then panic when you thrive alone, the failed exile. Control-driven individuals often resort to exile tactics when they can't dominate someone like a Sigma male. They whisper in circles, push him to the margins, and cut him off from social access, convinced that isolation will break him. If we remove him from the group, they reason he'll come crawling back. But this is where their strategy backfires spectacularly. The Sigma male doesn't need their circle to survive. He was thriving before them, and he'll continue to thrive after them. In fact, he often finds greater clarity and power in solitude, and when they see him evolving, building, and growing stronger on his own, panic sets in. His success without them isn't just proof of independence. It's a direct threat to their illusion of relevance. 9. They sabotage you quietly because they can't win publicly. The invisible war. When evil people realize they can't overpower the Sigma male in open confrontation, they retreat into the shadows and declare a covert war. They don't challenge him face to face because they know they'd lose. Instead, they launch attacks behind his back, spreading rumors in places he doesn't frequent, submitting anonymous complaints, or subtly tarnishing his reputation in quiet corners. These tactics are not just cowardly, they're strategic. They rely on stealth and confusion because they know transparency would expose their weakness. But here's the thing. The Sigma male rarely chases rumors or seeks vindication. His strength lies in letting his life speak louder than their lies. And in the long run, truth always finds its way to the surface, silently but powerfully, just like the Sigma himself. 10. They try to socialize you, to kill your autonomy. The herd mentality trap. Evil people know they can't control a Sigma male directly, so they employ a subtler strategy, assimilation. They bombard him with endless invitations to parties, group chats, team dinners, and casual hangouts, disguising it as inclusivity. They offer surface-level friendships and feigned camaraderie, all designed to lure him into the herd. The real goal behind the social pressure is to make him crave external validation. They hope that if he accepts their approval, he'll eventually fear losing it. That dependency is their gateway to control. But the Sigma male doesn't bite. He sees the trap for what it is, an effort to dissolve his independence. Rather than conform, he simply walks away, quietly, confidently, and without guilt. For him, solitude is not a prison, it's a sanctuary. 11. They mimic you to dilute your uniqueness, the cheap imitation. Unable to match a Sigma male's originality, manipulators often resort to mimicry. They observe his style, the way he speaks, his mannerisms, and even his ideas, then replicate them in exaggerated, hollow ways. But their imitation is always off. It lacks authenticity. What was effortless in the Sigma becomes awkward in their hands. A poor parody rather than tribute. Their intention is clear. If they can't surpass him, they'll try to cheapen what makes him unique. They want observers to believe the Sigma isn't exceptional, that he's just another trend follower. But this strategy fails because true authenticity can't be forged. It radiates naturally, and the Sigma male, he doesn't get distracted. He knows imitation is the sincerest form of insecurity, not flattery. 12. They pretend to respect you, just to study your blind spots. The Trojan horse. Some enemies don't storm the gates. They get invited in, pretending to admire the Sigma male. These manipulators pose as friends or students. They ask flattering questions like, "How do you stay so grounded?" Or, "Can you teach me how to think like you?" But beneath the compliments is the strategic mission, reconnaissance. They're not seeking wisdom. They're mapping his mindset. They want to identify weaknesses, emotional triggers, or past wounds they can use later. It's all part of a long game designed to dismantle him from the inside out. But the Sigma male remains guarded. His boundaries are unspoken, but impenetrable. He listens more than he speaks, reveals little, and trusts even less. In the end, their Trojan horse never reaches the center, because he never opens the gates. Conclusion: why the Sigma always wins. At the heart of every manipulator lies a single, desperate need: control. Whether it's through deception, guilt, praise, or intimidation, evil people crave dominance over others to feel powerful. But the Sigma male operates outside of this entire system. He doesn't seek control over others, nor does he allow anyone to hold power over him. This emotional sovereignty is what renders every tactic used against him ineffective. When evil people approach him with fake respect and false admiration, hoping to earn his trust only to exploit it later, he sees through the mask. When they spread rumors or subtly sabotage his reputation, he doesn't flinch or retaliate. He simply moves forward unaffected. When they try to drag him into social traps, crowd him with fake friendships, or pressure him to conform, he doesn't argue. He just walks away. What they fail to understand is that the Sigma male has already won the moment he refuses to engage. He doesn't react because he doesn't need to. He doesn't seek validation, approval, or permission. His calm is not passivity, it's clarity. His silence isn't weakness, it's mastery. In a world addicted to drama and control, the Sigma male's refusal to play the game is his ultimate act of rebellion and his most powerful form of victory. No matter how calculated the manipulation, how persistent the attack, or how subtle the mind games, the Sigma remains unshaken. And that is why evil people, no matter how hard they try, can never break him. Do you resonate with the ideas I shared in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more content about Sigma males, explore the other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.